The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah!
Go Cowboys!
Let's go, baby!
Are you ready for a break?
Yes.
Are you ready for a break?
Absolutely.
Ready for a break?
Yeah, and so much for that.
It's time for The Break on DallasCowboys.com.
We were on the break!
With Ambar Garcia, Bryan Broaddus, Voch Lombardi, and Derek Eagleton.
It is Thursday, August 28th, 2025, season 21, episode number 28. Welcome to the latest edition of The Break. We are live from the SWBC Mortgage Studios at the Star, presented by LG. LG is the world's #1 OLED TV brand for 11 years and counting. See why at lg.com/OLED Evo. Actually, real quick, I will let you know. I know Amber has been on me about this, but I mentioned that we were going to have some TVs that we were going to give away. I got a little message yesterday that we got 4 on deck, 55-inch TVs that we're going to be giving away to our listeners.
So how are we doing this?
Like give away to us, or like give away to them? Because it's for us here for each TV.
No, not us. Not us. You get a paycheck.
Give back to the community.
You get a paycheck.
To be fair, but go ahead and finish your statement.
You get a paycheck. This is going to be for the fans, for the listeners. It'll be very simple. All you have to do is we will designate days, and we will say on this day, if you come and listen to our show live, you will automatically be entered, and then we will randomly select a winner at the end of that show.
I don't know. I think we should make it more fun. I'll think about it.
I've been a fan of this program for 15 years.
I'll think about it for you.
Now I'm employed for a couple of months. All of a sudden, I can't
enter
a sweepstakes. That is crazy how they do you around here. Man. It's all good.
It's legalities involved here.
I'm sick of legal. I'm sick of people sending me emails and stuff I got to fill out before we get started. I'm sick of that.
Yeah, well, yeah. Make sure you stay on that. This whole gambling thing, make sure you stay on that and get that done.
Let me look you in the eyes. I turned down a lot of money to be here with you, Derek. So I hope I'm appreciated.
You are.
Some of them people wanted to give YouTubers a lot of money.
Yeah,
I say, man, I'm with the NFL now. Derek Eagleton holding us down. So, shouts out to the NFL, man.
Yeah.
We work here.
We just have things we got to do, right? We got things we got to do in order to stay employed.
The break.
All right, here we go. Let's talk. We got a lot we're going to get into today. We're going to talk about the defensive backs. Lots of transactions yesterday involving the defensive backs. We'll also look at the practice squad and what the Cowboys have. And then we'll get into our normal, what will normally be a Wednesday part of our show. Bryan's going to give us a scouting report on the Philadelphia offense. Voch is also going to give us some key matchups between the Cowboys defense and the Philadelphia offense. So it'll be an interesting conversation back and forth there. And then we, if we have time, we might get into some bigger picture 2025 outlook type questions. We'll see about that. Either we'll get that today or maybe tomorrow, maybe next Tuesday.
We won't have time. So
we probably won't.
We won't.
We probably won't. All right, so let's start first with the defensive backs. Yesterday, the Cowboys claimed cut to. They claim Triquezy. Is that how you spell name?
Yeah.
I've been calling him Weezy and Ready.
I love Weezy. I love to just call him Weezy. Gonna call him Weezy.
There you go.
And Triquezy Bridges and Redrick Stewart, also known as Reddy Stewart.
Yeah.
And then they cut Zion Childress and Andrew Booth. Let's start first. Do you guys have a scouting report on Bridges and Stewart?
I do.
All right, what you got?
I do. Stewart is he's going to likely play slot corner for you, and he's got a history with Matt Eberflus. He was with him in Chicago, and then saw him play at Minnesota. But he is a slot corner. He's a little bit of a smaller guy. He's a quick guy. He will line up on the outside, but like I say, plays more of a slot. The quickness is there. They use him as a blitzer. He can close ground, the plant, the drive. Everything about him is a quick-footed player. He can carry routes inside. That's something that's always really, really big to me. Can you carry routes? If guys go inside, can you run with them? Are there separations? With this guy, it's very limited that way. He's a little bit of a block-down tackler. I mean, when I say that is he's going to throw his body at the ball carrier and try and kind of knock him down that way. I'd like to see him kind of wrap up a little bit better. I saw him mix it up with blockers on the outside. When the ball was spilled to his side, he was able to try and get off blockers and then be a part of that play. I like I say, his ability to stay with his man, and I like his ability to kind of adjust in on the move to routes. There was a time when they play in the Houston Texans this year. in the preseason where the route went up the field and he was able to, from that slot position, carry and then go over and knock the ball, play the ball at the high point and knock it away. So nice job by him. I did talk to one of my gang of 7 guys real quick, if I could, Voch. You got a question? Go ahead.
I was just thinking, did you see him as sort of a safety kind of guy? Because when I watched him, I didn't see the fastest guy in the world. But if he's going to be there, like in the nickel, playing back some, playing forward something, like, is that somewhere you could?
I thought,
see him?
I kind of thought, it's funny. I thought that Childers was probably going to be a better safety one day.
Sure.
You know what I was saying? I was thinking that Childers, and when I was thinking about maybe what he could be in the future, hopefully he gets back. They got a practice squad. Hopefully that's the case. But this guy, I thought because of really his lack of height, I thought this was a smaller guy. So I didn't really see him. I just saw him really kind of as that slot player. Now, I talked to a scout in the league that does pro personnel stuff, and this is what my guy said about him that he does. And it's kind of a little bit of opposite, and maybe it's a little bit in line with what you're seeing, Voch. But they were, from this my scout friend's perspective, he goes, this is a really good kid. He's kind of a rough tweener, not big or not fast enough for outside and not explosive and strong enough for inside. But he's a close but no cigar guy. We've seen that with Cheeto here. We've seen it a little bit with Booth, McQuamu. We've had those kinds of guys. My guy said, look, not a standout on teams either, but a good kid with above average skills and competes. Not sure how he helps Dallas's active roster, to be honest. That's a scout's opinion, and all scouts are different here. Now, obviously, the influence or the ability of his to play with Eberflus, or Eberflus understands the player. I think there were some things in the preseason that I liked. I saw a quicker player. I saw a guy that would compete and stuff like that. So, again, just one opinion. My opinion is a lot different than what that scout said.
I didn't necessarily like him more than Childress, but I can see the vision of why you would rather keep him over Booth, because he can do things differently than Booth can. But I thought Childress was as lock as a lock could be. Yeah. So I was a little shocked there. Maybe they're going to try to work to get him back, but I'm just looking at the phone waiting to see if anything pops up on that. But I would have rather have not gambled with Childress in that way.
It's interesting, and real quick too, I'll get to the Bridges scouting report because he's a different built guy. Sure. The way he looks, but I thought it was a little bit. This just goes to show you though that with Booth and Childers, a week before a game, they've been playing with him, practicing with him all training camp, and they go and say, no, let's go get 2 more guys a week before. Boy, that tells you a lot of really what they kind of think about maybe their secondary. They got the good news with Diggs coming back and the practicing and all that. I mean, that's been very encouraging. But, boy, this seems like a really big swing at it right now with that. Okay, I'll get to Bridges there. He's a long, rangy, kind of a built corner. He will come forward. He'll tackle. I thought he needed a little bit better body control. He's one of those guys who will come up and he'll kind of fly by, or he'll hit and fall off. I thought he needed a little bit better with that, with the body control. He's not afraid of contact. He plays both sides of the field, so you can see him on the left and right side. He does well to get his hands on receivers. That's something I think is big because of his length. It kind of fits in what Will McClay likes from his corners, that ability to play the press man. I saw a little bit of a long strider here, and I think he needed a little bit more of a burst for a tall guy. He's ran in the 4.3s, but he doesn't play like a 4.3 guy. Feisty, good impress man. But when it takes a little bit for him to close the ball. There was a couple times where he was playing zone, the ball went outside, and we talk about click and close, where you go back and you click and then you go forward, and that's where he had a little bit of it. Was a little bit of that hesitation there. But I didn't see a really quick twitch guy. I thought honestly that Stewart was more quick twitch, but he's a smaller guy, so that makes a little bit more sense there.
The thing about Weezy, Bryan, is all these corners that are kind of tall and long like that, I just immediately think of them like cover 3 guys.
Yeah.
Right? Like sideline, back to the sideline, deep third type dudes, don't let anything get behind you. And if they do come at your way, you're long and you're length and you have a head start if you're not fast enough. So when I was watching Weezy, that's kind of what I thought about, Bryan.
So what do you guys think as far as Childress and or Booth coming back to the practice squad? Is the expectation the Cowboys will try to get back both or one? Who would you prefer if they were only going to take one?
if it was just one guy, I think Childress is the guy. I mean, he's the younger guy, the better player, I would say, and he gives you something different. You know, Bland is the guy that can do anything, but Childress is your only nickel guy besides that. We kind of know what we have in Booth already, and Booth will go out there and compete and do his thing, but Booth will get bullied if he's out there too long. I never seen Zion Childress get bullied, not one time, so I would rather have him.
Yeah, I think with Childress, I would much rather. I understand moving on from Booth. If they would have done that and just made one move, I would have totally, but the fact that they swung at it twice, I could say again, I think that tells you something about this, about what they're thinking about here. I personally like to see, with Childress, he can cover and he can play physical. The thing when I was kind of thinking about, if you bring it back, go ahead and look at him at the corner stuff in the practical, but try and play him at some of the safety. Maybe his body type, maybe he could give you a guy that can cover and then play some against tight ends,
long, physical,
and stuff like that. Yeah, that's because if he's going to come, if you're going to let him play downhill and he could cover. We've seen what Brian Branch, and I'm not calling him Brian Branch, but I'm calling him in a way of a guy that can play deep, but also play up and also be physical and also can cover. That might be the kind of a weapon that you would like to have, and I hope he has a practice squad spot. If people are watching tape of this kid, this might be a claim by somebody. If you're down, if your sixth corner is not very good, and you got a guy that's willing to tackle and cover a little bit, that makes a lot of sense for me.
You mentioned
Childress has the unknown fact, the exciting factor of the unknown, of what else can he do? You've seen those last few weeks of training camp and the preseason, the things that he's capable of and what he could turn out to be. And with Booth, the difference there is you've seen Booth. You kind of know what to expect. Not that he can't improve and get better, but you've already given that a chance. So I would say I would hope that they do bring back Childress back into the squad.
You mentioned that Bland is their only slot corner. What happens if they're in a game and they lose Bland for, I don't know, whatever period of time in that game? Who would be the guy that steps in and plays in the slot?
Could be ready.
I think Stewart's the guy. I think they're going to try and get now again the familiarity he has with Matt Eberflus and the Chicago Bear defense. I think helps him. His learning curve is going to be a little bit shorter than what Bridges is going to have to deal with.
All right, let's talk.
Why isn't the question? What if he stays healthy the whole way through?
No, honestly, the nature of any coaching staff is they got to have contingency.
Well, yeah,
and when you hear that he's the only, and when you hear that he's the only real slot corner that they have on the team, then that certainly makes you wonder why they would make the move to cut Childress.
Childress, and
exactly.
Well, we lived it last year. We lived all the injuries that the Cowboys kept piling up, and then you looked at the depth, and you're like, okay, well, crap, you don't have a whole lot. So definitely, it's something to look for, and we talked about it yesterday, but just the defensive back as a whole, specifically the corners, is still a big question mark for the Cowboys.
All right, real quick, the practice squad, Cowboys kept a lot of players. Quite frankly, you start going down the list, a lot of these names are names that we all knew and thought, hey, the Cowboys could use these guys. Didn't seem like they really lost anybody, and it goes to reinforce what we, I think, have come to learn over the years is just because a guy shows up and is pretty good at your training camp doesn't mean somebody's going to be in a hurry to go and sign them to their active roster. Because everybody has those guys at training camp. Yeah. That being said, was there anyone that you thought they didn't retain that you would have liked them to have retained, or anybody that they did retain that was a bit of a surprise for you?
Me and Bryan talked about this, and Bryan was kind of, I don't want to say Bryan was mad. He'll tell you if he was or not. But when you have these chances to go to other teams and kind of take better guys, me and Bryan, we're lockstep in this. We think that the Cowboys should definitely go look for other guys. Like we're draft people, right. So there's a lot of draft picks that we love that are just sitting on the streets right now. Like, boy, we could be better at running back here. We could be better at tackle, offensive or defensive. And the Cowboys kind of keeping some of the same guys. Cropper was a guy that I'm really not seeing him work himself out of practice squad. Trayshawn Holder could be a guy. So maybe that's your wide receiver this year that can work himself out of that. Some guys guys I just didn't see. The Cowboys did sign Isaiah Land, that used to be with us, that we used to love a whole bunch.
I don't know. Has that gone through yet?
I think it went through earlier, and we're still waiting on Childress. But so Land is a part of this thing now, and I'm like, hey, that's a great example of if somebody out there that's better and it's not going to cost you a roster spot, shoot your shot, see what you can get. But as far as the rest of these guys that are here, I mean, we kind of figure most of them.
See, and I appreciate you bringing that up, Voch. To me, my job as a pro personnel guy is to go out and say, okay, I know if you just re-sign the players you all cut, great. I mean, it's familiarity and all that, but did you really get any better? You cut these guys. You moved on from, you said, hey, they're not good enough to make our 53. To me, I'm always looking at other teams and like, how could I take somebody else's guy that they cut? That's, how could I convince a practice squad guy with the Ravens to come here? How do I convince a guy from the 49ers to come here? Let me get on the phone and get with an agent. If there are guys out there, hey, would you be interested in practice? We know the players that they've all signed. We've seen them, and they've all been released. And that's cool. But, man, just go out there and try and add 2 or 3 guys that we haven't seen and take that opportunity.
One that was a little, just a tiny bit surprising to me was Deuce Vaughn not making it there, mainly because looking at training camp, the Cowboys were very intentional in giving him a ton of opportunities. Like every time I looked, I would see him a whole lot on the field getting the ball. So that would tell me that they're very much interested in a guy like him, but clearly it didn't pan out. So that was one of the cuts, or even looking at the practice squad, that was kind of I understand why he's not, but also thought it was a little surprising.
Would you have problem with Vaughn is that there's running backs on the team right now that do things that he do, but better than him. So Jadon Blue is a better, bigger Deuce Vaughn. If Turpin lines up at running back, I mean, you would opt to throw the ball to Blue or Turpin before you throw it to Deuce Vaughn. And if he's not helping you as a teams guy, then it's I can understand.
Yeah, he lost his sponsors when the coaching staff, when it switched. He lost the guys in that room that were going to fight for him. So that's, and you're right, Ambar. They were giving him opportunities. And, for the most part, Deuce Vaughn was stepping up and doing what he needed to do. The fact is he's just a shorter player, and you're saying Voch is right. He's got to be able, if he's a backup guy, he's got to be able to play this and play this and play this, and that's where he's just kind of limited as a player.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting that Malik Davis was brought back to the practice squad, but not Deuce Vaughn, and I think that's partially, as you said, Bryan, you can get some special teams play out of him if you have to move him up as well. That maybe you can't. They don't think maybe they can get out of Deuce Vaughn. All right, we're going to take our first break. We're going to come back. We'll jump into the Philadelphia offense. Bryan will give us a scouting report there. We'll be back. DallasCowboys.com radio.
Hey.
AT&T has a new guarantee because most things in life are not guaranteed, like getting through self-checkout by yourself.
Warning, each item must be placed in the bagging area.
Not guaranteed.
Place item in the bagging area. Place item in the bagging area.
You know what AT&T guarantees? Connectivity you depend on, deals you want, and service you deserve. Or we make it right. Terms and conditions apply. Visit att.com/guarantee for details. AT&T. Connecting changes everything.
Hey y'all, Matt Pittman here. As the official pitmaster of the Dallas Cowboys, you know I take cookware seriously, especially when it comes to America's team. So when the Cowboys are away, I'm putting my Yeti cast iron skillets to work to make my game day favorites for friends and family. I'm talking chicken fried steak, skillet queso, and peach cobbler. And just like the Cowboys are forever, so are these heirloom cast iron skillets. Check out the full line of skillets on Yeti.com or at a Yeti store near you.
Every day begins with a promise to work hard and to build a future. That's why we're here, providing the tools, expertise, and John Deere equipment you have relied on for generations to help you get the job done right. We're with you. That's our promise to you, because no matter the project or the challenge you're facing,
we're with you. We're united. If you shout, "How about them Cowboys?" you have that undeniable passion that's the heart of Cowboys Nation. And if you like to drink Dr. Pepper, you love the unique blend of its 23 flavors. Together, your one-of-a-kind fandom paired with the one-of-a-kind taste of a delicious ice-cold Dr. Pepper is the game day lineup that can't be beat. Better yet, gather your Cowboys and Dr. Pepper fan friends to watch the next game and crack open a delicious ice-cold Dr. Pepper for everyone. The wins will be even tastier. It's a pepper thing.
Don't put off getting your oil changed, Dallas. Take 5 Oil Change, a proud partner of the Cowboys, is faster than you think. They're so fast, you don't even have to get out of your car. You can take advantage of Take 5's stay-in-your-car 10-minute oil change at any of their locations across the Dallas area. And remember, at Take 5, you stay in your car because they're faster than you think. That means you won't even have time to show off your best touchdown celebration. Take 5, the official oil change of the Dallas Cowboys.
Back to the break.
Choose perfection. Choose LG OLED Evo. Check out the best TV in the game at LG.com.
Welcome back. We're in the second segment of the break live from SWBC Mortgage Studios at the Star. The segment brought to you by Blockchain.com. Bing. All right, Broaddus, what you got? Give us a scouting report on this Philadelphia Eagles world champion team that's defending.
Was that necessary? Was the add-on title necessary?
Probably not.
It was.
Oh, I got to get you ready for it, though. Thursday, you know it's going to be everywhere. They're going to make sure that the Cowboys know they are the defending champs. They're going to make sure that's very clear by all the signage and all the pomp and
that's
circumstance.
expected. But from you, no.
I'm just
on
saying,
this show?
get yourself ready.
You just remind me I need to get Bobby Belt a bag so he can carry back some pretzels for me.
Those from that press box?
That press box pretzels are the best.
Yeah.
They really are good. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Their food's middle of the league, though.
Our mac and cheese is the best.
Yeah.
So our spread is the best.
We do a good
I've never been. I don't know nothing about it.
No, I'm telling you, there's some teams
You've
around
never
the league.
been.
I haven't been nowhere.
You've never been to the press box at AT&T Stadium?
I just got here. I ain't done. I got drafted from YouTube, man. I just got here. I ain't been to nobody.
All right, we got to get you to a game in the press box, man.
We gotta get you back in fish
And
oil.
just watch
Just for the
Eric
food.
Chiafalo eat.
Huh?
We gotta get you back on fish oil.
No, we do not. I'm good.
Derek say, Voch, what you mean you never shook Jerry Jones' hand? Nah, I never done none of this.
We got to get you introduced. What are we doing?
Just messing up, Bryan.
You have not had experiences here. We got to get you.
All right, what does Philly have? What do they got going on over
This is a
there?
bad matchup.
Let me ask you a question, Bryan.
We're the Cleveland Browns.
Go ahead, please. Go ahead, Bryan. Go ahead.
This is going to be, as we all know, and everybody's very familiar with Philadelphia, and it really comes down to the skill players they have. The one thing that you can kind of hope for a little bit though is with Kellen Moore no longer being the offensive coordinator. I think he was committed to doing certain things, and I think the head coach asked him to do certain things. But it's really about this offense. It's about their skill guys, and to me. You could start with AJ Brown, with Smith and Dodson. They traded for John Mitchie. They're trying their best to get their best receivers out there. 11 personnel, 12 personnel, whatever they're going to do. They've got answers for you when they want to get into certain sets and certain formations. They're very difficult to have to defend. The thing with Smith. He's such an elusive receiver, and the routes that he runs, it's going to be a challenge when he plays out of the slot. And I always talk about the carrying aspect of things. He's big on the crossers. He's big on anything that requires movement. He's going to make somebody chase him. I kind of compare this to like when you watch Steph Curry play basketball, and he's constantly running and he's constantly getting open. He's constantly, that's really where Smith's at right here. AJ Brown is the big body guy. He's the guy that's going to make the plays down the field. He's going to be the red zone guy. Those are the things that you're going to have to deal with. Like I say, Dotson's a guy that was drafted by the Commanders. The Eagles have him. He's a part of this, but it's really about Brown. It's about Smith, and it's about Dallas Goedert, the tight end. Those are the three main weapons you're going to have to deal with on the receiving side of things.
Bryan, those wide receivers, tight end also, they are terrifying. But if I had to game plan as a Cowboys coach, I would rather deal with those guys than to deal with Barkley. Well,
see, that's the next thing. Now you're going to get into the aspect of like, okay, is Dallas going to be able? How is Dallas going to play run defense? We all have an idea that Dallas is going to play a lot on the move. They're going to have to take gaps. They're going to attack gaps. They're going to hope that they wreck your blocking scheme. When I went back and watched the Eagles game last year, the game that was played here at AT&T Stadium. Overshown was that guy. Overshown was the attacker. You know, they double, tripled Micah, but Overshown was that guy that was able to. And Micah had a couple sacks, but Overshown was a big factor in that game in the way that he was able to play. They didn't have a very good handle for him. Is there somebody on this Dallas defense that could kind of take over that role? Because, like I say, Saquon Barkley, he's going to be a factor running the football. The Dallas has had great success throughout his career of stopping him with the Giants. So it's a little bit different story because of this offensive line and stuff like that. But they are going to try and load up and make Saquon Barkley part of this attack, and then that creates other opportunities for Jalen Hurts. We're going to talk about a team here that like they're okay with running the football. They're totally. I mean, there's some teams aren't that patient. We'll see, though, if in fact that they are. They continue to be this patient running the football. But Saquon Barkley has been outstanding.
Brian, please let me ask you, because I watched that same game, and I'm just noticing some of the names that were out there. Guys like Carlos Watkins, Chauncey Golston, Carl Lawson were out there.
Right.
I think you have more talent now to be able to deal with that. But Brian Broaddus, let me just ask you this question.
Yeah.
If I'm to attack the Eagles in that front, would you start Marshawn Nealon? Like, first play, run him out there. And he may not be Micah, he may not be Dante Fowler, but he is a bigger body, stout, run game type of guy. Would he be the first one out there to be able to deal with Barkley and get Philly out of that run?
Yeah, I think to me it's really going to come down to like how the fronts are played. And the question that you have is with this offensive line is with Landon Dickerson. Is he going to be available? He's dealing with a knee injury, meniscus problem, but he's been practicing. You know, I was watching some cut-ups of him yesterday from Eagles practice. He was out there working. So you got to assume in a week's time that, well, maybe this is going to be something that they line up. But that is going to be a little bit of a loss for him if they can't play because of the physical style that he plays. Jordan Mailata at tackle, and then also Lane Johnson at tackle. You know, these are guys that Mailata has more trouble with quickness than where Lane Johnson more the athlete. So wherever you're trying to deal, if you feel like that you can, and it's probably not going to be Micah Parsons, but whoever is that edge rusher to that side, and you talk about using Nealon, I'd line Nealon up over Lane Johnson and let Nealon play that edge. We've seen the Cowboys in these games. It's funny, they play their right ends on the left and their left ends on the right, and I think that's just they didn't want to give Philly or anybody else any idea how they were going to play these fronts. But I would definitely go with my quicker guy over Mailata, and then my more powerful guy over Lane Johnson. I think that would match up better across the board for you.
Is your quickest guy minus Micah?
Yeah.
Is your quickest guy Ezraku?
Yeah, I would say
or Fowler.
Either one will work.
I think
switch it up.
I think to me, I think I would start Fowler in this one, and then because I think that Fowler has played against a Jordan Mailata, and he's played against a Lane Johnson, so he kind of has a plan. We with Houston also being a veteran guy as well. There's a guy with some first step quickness and all that. It's going to be a defensive line that's going to rely really on quickness, really on attacking gaps, and really if they could get across the line of scrimmage and be disruptive. If this Eagle offensive line gets their hands on you, it's going to be a long day. They're going to have to take some chances. They're going to have to fill. They're going to have to run some slant front. They're going to have to fill with safeties and corners. Everybody's got to be in position to make plays because Barkley will bounce this ball, but this offensive line, they will wear you out with their size, especially if Landon Dickerson plays on that left side. If he doesn't play, then that's a win right there for the Cowboys.
Honestly, Brian, they say that Dickerson is healthy, but I would still try him. I would take Osa, line him up right over Dick, and just go right
try for it. Yeah, absolutely.
Just another point, though, Brian, on the offensive line, we have this thing that I say on my YouTube called Find the Scrub. Y'all can hear me say this a whole bunch since we're doing this. Talking about offensive line, Tyler Steen is there now. He's there right guard now, and he's been a backup this whole time.
Right.
The big fella, Becton, was there playing right guard, a 6'7", 375, humongous ass right guard there. But Steen is a little smaller. He was a tackle in college at Alabama, and now he's playing right guard for you. Brian, if it's me, I think in the run game, Solomon Thomas, he's more more of a quick sideways slashy guy, I think that's one of the matchups you're looking for. And Jurgens, who is powerful, feet are slow. So, Derek, like you mentioned earlier, if we're just looking for a quick-footed guy in the pass rush game or something like that, that'll be great for Donovan Ezeraku, Dante Fowler to line up over either one of those guys and just run around them. Thinking about Dante Fowler when he was in Washington, most of his sacks came from B-gap. Like, they lined him right up in there. So I think this would be a fantastic time. I don't know what you're going to do with the good-on-goods. I always kind of struggle with that because what we used to do, or what Quinn and them used to do, is take Micah and put Micah over the best guy and try to get pressure that way. We don't even know if Micah's going to be playing, but that'll be Lane Johnson. That'll be Mailata.
Yeah, Jordan Mailata.
Mailata. But if it's
antacid.
Mailata. But if it's me, Jordan. But left tackle Jordan. But if it's me, I'm taking Micah Parsons, putting him over Steen. I'm taking Osa, putting him over Dickerson, and then I'll take Fowler and put the rest of the guys and just get in wherever you fit in.
That's where you kind of saw in that game against Philadelphia last year was that they were able to attack those B gaps. And they got Overshown home and Micah home and those. That's, I think, inside. I think you're absolutely right about Steen. I think you're absolutely right about Jurgens. It's going to be, can Dallas win inside with their guys, and then the linebackers play off that. This is a big unknown for me with Murray playing as the Mike backer.
Sure.
I mean, in training camp, I know that Derek, you and Ambar were there the whole time, and myself and Voch were there like 10, 12 days. Yeah. But we didn't get to see Murray. How will Murray play in this game?
He was gone for a little bit.
Yeah, the birth of his baby. Yeah, he's going to that group is going to have to be really, if they're going to slant that front and play in gaps, they got to be physical at that linebacker spot because they're going to try and create some confusion and disruption inside. And I think that's the best way to start it because I think these tackles are really, really good. But the quickness gives a lot of problems. That's where I think I need to start. And then the power gives Lane Johnson problems. So however you want to match that up, that's the best way to go.
Let's go to break. When we come back, I actually want to ask you the question, Bryan. You talked a little bit about how Overshown was the attacker last year, and that helped the Cowboys on their defensive side of the ball. I want to know which linebacker you suspect might be able to have that kind of role for them, and specifically talk a little bit about Marist, who is not, I don't think he's necessarily slated as being a starter in nickel, which I assume Eagles will run a lot of 11 personnel, which means they'll be in nickel a lot. How do you work in a guy like Marist, who I think can be a disruptive player? We'll talk about all that when we come back. This is DallasCowboys.com radio.
If you can't be at the stadium, there's no better way to watch your Cowboys than on an LG OLED Evo TV. That's because everything you see is more lifelike. Every play, every hit. I mean, you might as well be on the sidelines. That's how clear it is. It's all thanks to LG's legendary technology. Perfect black, over 8.3 million self-lit pixels. No one comes close. LG OLED Evo is the best TV in the game for a reason. See for yourself at lg.com/OLED Evo.
It's the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black. And right now, Cowboys fans can get 15% off their $75 order. Plus, because every deal needs a playmaker, your order will include a free 5-piece skincare set and free shipping. The Jack Black Playmaker is 4 of Jack's favorites and a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Make a play for the playmaker at getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP.
As America's leading business lender, Bank of America is on your corner and in your corner. With over $9 billion in business loans and more than 140 business specialists right here in North Texas, we help businesses thrive so communities prosper. What would you like the power to do? Learn more at bankofamerica.com/local business. Bank of America, official bank of FIFA Club World Cup 2025. Copyright 2025 Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
From the field to the festivities, Lucchese embodies the essence of luxury and tradition. Handcrafted with meticulous precision, each pair offers unmatched comfort and style. Stand tall while you're tailgating or cheering in the stands with the Dallas Cowboys collection by Lucchese. Shop the collection today at the Lucchese store at the Star in Frisco or online at lucchese.com. Lucchese, the official boot of the Dallas Cowboys and Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders.
AT&T has a new guarantee because most things in life are not guaranteed, like getting through self-checkout by yourself.
Warning, each item must be placed in the bagging area.
Not guaranteed.
Place item in the bagging area. Place item in the bagging area.
You know what AT&T guarantees? Connectivity you depend on, deals you want, and service you deserve. Or we make it right. Terms and conditions apply. Visit att.com/guarantee for details. AT&T. Connecting changes everything.
Back to the break.
AT&T connecting changes everything.
Welcome back. It is the final segment of the Break Live from
the energy, love it.
It's the
because Voch Lombardi.
That's what I'm supposed to do, right?
beet juice.
Beet juice.
Beet juice. That's beet juice just for you. Just so you know, that is the key. Beet juice. Everybody out there, drink your beet juice every day. Every day. All right, let's jump back in. We're talking about the Philly offense versus the Dallas defense. Bryan, I teed it up before the break. You talked about Overshown.
Yeah.
Tell me which of these linebackers you got. Two brand new linebackers. Right. You also have Maris Leofau, who is, I think he's a good player. I think he's an ascending player. Which one do you think is best suited for that kind of role of what Overshown was providing for them last year in this Eagles matchup?
That's a really good question because I think Maris does have a feel for this stuff. You're going to need a slippery player. You're going to need a player that kind of, when things are looking kind of muddied, he has a feel for how to kind of dip, get underneath, and then go and attack, and he can close. So to me, that would probably be the direction that I would go with him. But I don't know how much he's going to play in this game.
Yeah, how do you get him on the field, right?
Now, and I haven't seen Jack Sanborn do this, so it's kind of hard for me to sit there and say, all right, well, this is going to be the guy, that Sanborn's going to be the guy, because I think Sanborn is a little bit more of a play behind the line, flow, fit, be that guy. But whereas Marist is a little bit crazy in the way he gets after it.
Shamar James. That's what I was thinking. And
we haven't seen that yet. We saw it at Florida, though.
And in my mind, it translates perfect.
Yeah.
We actually said this 3 weeks ago. I don't know if Derek was here or not. Derek be missing day. But in terms of
Voch, remember you just got here, okay? You gotta earn your 1 year.
In terms of Shamar James, Bryan, we always talked about his job being easy. When his job is easy, he's a much different player than when he's the Mike and he has a ton of responsibilities. So in Florida, coming over to
there's no
Cowboy
question.
guy, they would always say these things. Oh, well, we see him as a pass rusher type guy, as a downhill player, as a sideline to sideline type guy. If he's having to read and get, read motions and things like that, then that'll kind of trip him up a little bit. But if your job is simply run with that guy, I think that fits him perfectly. Like, Leofau is going to be like a better cover guy maybe, and we'll talk about that a little bit because I got that written down right there. Murray's physical downfield. Sanborn's like a diagnoser.
Right.
I think the best shot you have is the rookie and just let him bang his helmet up against Jalen Hurts all day.
There's no question when we watched him coming out of Florida there was questions about the instincts. There was questions about like the coverability. The one thing he could do was rush the passer. But we haven't seen it, and maybe that's something that Matt Eberflus is holding in his back pocket. That he's like, listen, I saw this guy being able to do that, and maybe you do get him involved that way. But if there's a guy that I think can do it, that I've seen do it, it's Maris. He's the one that I've seen do it. So I don't know. I mean, Ambar, you've seen Maris play. I mean, where do you think it is? I mean, when you look at him and how active he is and stuff like that, is that a good fit to do?
I think he can do pretty much everything you ask him to. I think there are some areas in his game that he still needs improvement in, the reads and figuring out exactly where to go. But he has all the qualities that you want in a player. So if you give him that role, I think he's very much capable of executing what is needed to be done. But at the same time, I like what Voch is saying with Shamar. I like him, but my only fear is, again, just like you said, Bryan, we haven't seen it yet. And also, he's still a rookie. He's new in this. Is that gonna, they all have their learning curve and learning moment that is like, okay, you throw him in there. But I would feel more comfortable with Maris in this instance, but he's also Shamar a possibility as well.
Looking at the defense, is the linebacker position the position that we have really the least understanding of how they're going to deploy all these guys? Because we've mentioned right there 4 linebackers. At any given time, you're probably well, that's true too. I'm saying on the defensive side of the ball. On the defensive side of the ball, you got 4 guys, and you got probably 2 players out there at any given time because they're probably going to be in nickel a lot, if not the majority of the game. What is your sense for who you think is going to be out there the majority of the time? Is it Sanborn and Kenneth Murray?
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so.
More than like, and Derek, you said that Bryan kind of alluded to it, but Ambar made the best point of this whole show, and I ain't just saying it because she said something nice about me. But there's the unknown element.
Yeah,
the Eagles we don't know nothing.
No,
the Eagles
that's
don't know
right.
nothing.
If we don't know, you know the Eagles.
We don't know a damn
That's
thing.
the one thing that's coach has been real consistent about.
Yep.
He has talked about the element of surprise, and you're going to need the element of surprise going to the link. You really are.
All right, let's move on and let's talk a little bit more about the. I want to talk a little bit about the secondary. We haven't spent a lot of time there. How do you think these corners, and let's assume for a second that Trayvon is not playing.
Yeah.
How do they match up with these skill positions that you talked about earlier, Bryan? Where this is, I would say, a top 5 wide receiver group, maybe a top 3 wide receiver group in the NFL.
These are some of the best wide receivers in the whole league there. And I don't think there's anything that this wide receiver core could do about it necessarily. I think this is going to have to be
the secondary could do about it.
Secondary, pardon me. This is going to have to be a team effort. You need your offense to go score, and you need your pass rush to go get them because there's no good matchup for Elam to just say, hey, go chase around Devontae Smith. I think Smith is better out of the two. You know, there's a lot of people that say Brown is wide receiver 1. Yeah. I think Brown got 3 routes that he's run, but he's physical besides that.
Yeah.
Smith is the route runner, the down the field guy, the great hands guy. So I have more fear, I would say, for him. So Diggs not being here, now you're wondering who's going to be the corner. It might be Red, it might be Weezy at this point that's going to have to run around with Smith. I think you just got to hold on to your ass and just kind of go and just pass rush and hope for the best. But I will say the wide receivers need Jalen Hurts to deliver. Yeah. So if this is Tom Brady in his prime throwing it to these guys, and we won't even have a show to do his ball game. But this is Jalen Hurts, and Jalen Hurts does have his issues, and I think you have to pressure him. You have to put bodies in front of him. So as much as you stack the box to deal with the run, I'll say keep that same box stacked to deal with Jalen Hurts because his eyes are going to come down. Right. He's going to run around and try to play some sort of hero ball. And Flus isn't going to blitz a bunch, but he will throw a weird blitz at you, and I think that's when you're going to have your opportunities, and your offense got to score and take advantage of it.
Well, let's assume for a second that Micah doesn't play. If Micah doesn't play, are they going to have to blitz?
We're gonna have to find Tyler Steen and hope Dickerson knees hurt, and we're gonna have to hope that Jurgen's feet didn't get quick over the offseason.
You think they're gonna stick with a 4-man rush no matter what?
It's gonna be the inside.
Like.
It's gonna have to, and they're gonna have to. Because the thing about it is, how willing is Hurts going to be to want to run? There was a couple of times in that game last year where he just third down and everybody's rushing and then they're all getting kind of muddled up and he takes off running and it's like a 12-yard gain and then he gets out of bounds. I will say this, they got down the red zone and he threw an interception right to Diggs that was just a bad read on his part. You're going to get the occasional Jalen Hurts, like, what was that throw all about? And you have to be ready for that. I mean, he can make some really nice throws, but they'll also protect the heck out of him. And protect in a way of not letting him throw the ball a ton. And all of a sudden, if Saquon Barkley is hurting you, and the best thing for Dallas to do is to try and put points on the Eagles and make this a game where all of a sudden that running game is not a factor. It turns into Hurts having to throw the ball, and can Dallas hold up on these receivers? And I would feel so much better if Micah Parsons was playing in this game. Just because of the fact that I think there's some things that Matt Eberflus could do with him in order to attack this Eagles offense and turn the tide to his way a little bit.
Well, something that we know for sure because we saw it all throughout training camp is the emphasis that the coaching staff put into the defense getting the ball, punching it, chasing the ball, trying to create those turnovers. So at least we know that they've been working on that, and you just hope that just comes out in the game because they're going to need it. And I totally agree. This is a game that's going to come down to both offenses.
Yeah.
Like the Cowboys are going to have to figure it out on offense and score points because the defense, I think right now at their current state, they need the help. But maybe there's some punching going on, getting that ball and creating some turnovers, unexpected turnovers happening there.
Who do you think is the primary guy that you're expecting the Eagles to put in the slot when they're in 11 personnel?
Everybody. They're going to rotate Brown, Smith.
I think Smith is to me the one guy that I kind of feel
He's
like
terrifying, though.
yeah, it's just you're giving him the whole field to run with, and that's he can go. As Voch says, he goes up the field. The stuff on the move is hard to deal with him because he just knows how to get through trash and through bodies, and then he's picking guys off on the way, and he's very sure-handed. And he is a very sure-handed receiver.
So in that case, do you think the best option for the Cowboys is take Bland and whenever you're in nickel, put him in the slot and put one of the new corners that you got on the outside? Or do you think it's, there's a chance that maybe if they can get Childress back, that maybe they bring him back up to the 50?
Yeah,
what's the best option for handling the slot for this particular game?
If you're playing this team in week 2, you would probably have Elam, Diggs, and Bland playing, and you would feel
and
better.
Bland's in the slot, and you feel great about it.
You would feel better about the situation.
Great.
Better. But I
feel great about it. But go ahead.
It is going to be a challenge. It's going to be a challenge for the new corners. I mean, Stewart, if he's in fact the guy that's going to be, I could say we'll know at 3:00 today about if you get Childress back, and if that's the case, you put him on the practice squad, then you could do the elevation game and stuff like that. But man, these coaches are putting a lot of confidence in putting 2 new guys into the mix, having to dealing with this offense.
But at the end of the day, I just want to stress, because this is the most important. I've seen Jalen Hurts go out there and throw the football for 3 whole quarters and not really make it shake.
Yeah.
They'll hand it to Saquon at the end of the game.
Right.
And 90-yard
Saints.
run.
Yep.
You have to contain Saquon Barkley.
First and foremost.
I will deal with a 7-on-7 type matchup. I can live with that. Don't let Barkley get loose and go crazy on you.
So how do you guys currently feel about the run defense?
Well,
our time is up. And you just asked us a question we could spend the whole show on. But good question. What do you
No,
think?
I
It's always Friday.
I'll say this real quick, though. I mean, to me, it's going to be about with this the way the front's going to be played and the linebackers. You will know if they're out of position. You will know. I mean, if they're moving the front and trying to keep not go toe to toe with guys, you will see if guys are supposed to play A gap, play A gap. If linebackers play B gap, play B gap. If they're not in those gaps, you'll see it very, very quickly in this football game.
It's all about matchups. Win your matchups, win your one-on-ones. Also, you should never let Tyler Steen block you one-on-one. And if Dickerson's knee is hurting, then that'll probably benefit us as well. But just win one-on-ones. You'll be good.
Perrion Winfrey needs to have a big game. Somebody big and
somebody
disruptive.
extra.
Somebody
extra
big and disruptive, yeah.
All right, we appreciate you guys joining us. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll jump into the Cowboys offense versus the Eagles defense. Why are you tearing up our stuff, man?
Because
we can't never have nice things.
Because it's cheap. Because it's $38 from T-Move. Is what it is.
Welcome back. I mean,
for Derek Eagleton, Ambar Garcia, Bryan, Broaddus, I'm Voch Lombardi. We'll catch y'all tomorrow on the break, you heard? On DallasCowboys.com radio.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!